First of all, what an amazing event today was. I mean, to hear so many great stories from our athletes, but also from administrators and leaders in sport with having the FIFA World Cup has been outstanding. For me, the messages were almost twofold. One, there was this whole essence of diversity and the importance of diversity, and we see that day in and day out, whether it's in sport or whether it's in business or whether it's in the communities that we live and operate within, and diversity just brings so much more wealth to conversations. It brings different perspectives. We often talk about the balance between IQ and EQ, and to me, it comes through having sort of a diverse workforce. At the Canadian Australian Chamber, we're blessed to have a diverse board. We're blessed to bring a lot of events that continue to promote diversity and help us lead in this new era. Alongside of diversity, as I mentioned about it being multifaceted, is the whole essence of inclusivity. So to me, without having an inclusive environment, diversity fails. So by being inclusive in terms of how we listen, how we engage, how we select leaders, and the environment that we create for leaders to thrive and to bring their perspectives and to create psychological safety is absolutely critical for organizations and communities and groups to thrive with diversity. Sport to me is the essence of diversity because in a sporting context, everyone has a role, but every athlete is different in their role, different in terms of the skills and capabilities they bring, different in terms of the positions they play. But it's the culmination of all of that that comes together to create, almost the perfect outcome, the perfect match, the perfect performance, and performances at an elite level. So to me, diversity creates elite performances.
What a great event with the Canadian Australian Chamber of Commerce to be here with so many leaders from across your country and also with fellow Canadians as we shared some of the common values that we have when it comes to promoting women in business, in sports, in politics, and so many walks of life. By having an event like this, it's a reminder of how much work we still have to do in terms of making sure that women are at the highest levels of leadership in both our respective countries. Both our countries share so much, that passion, that vision to make our world a better place, but also to make sure that everyone is included in that. So by looking at an event like this with its diversity, with its inclusion, there are a lot of things that we took away today on the panel, talking about leadership, expectations, being intentional, and also leading with trust, integrity, and honesty when it comes to having these open dialogue in a safe space. So it was a real pleasure for me to be here, and I look forward to perhaps some future collaborations with our Australian counterparts, not only in sport, but also in business.
I've actually been really fortunate throughout my corporate career that I've had a lot of great female leaders, and I've seen the organisations change to build better diversity, to build better inclusion across all areas. And without exception, every business that approached it properly and actually made real indelible change lifted. They outperformed, they created a better, a safer, more successful environment with much stronger performance across all metrics. And that diversity has been something that I've lived with and I've seen and I've known is absolutely imperative. And one of the things that I've seen evolve with that is obviously the incredible levels of advocacy and support women are providing to women. We get programs, we get mentoring, there's all this work being done for women to lead the way and drive the change that needs to be driven. The reality is for them to do it on their own is an epically difficult task because, let's be honest, we don't need to fix women, we need to fix the system. And where the barriers and the challenges in the system exist, it's usually because of male leadership and those leaders, not in my experience through ill intent, just not understanding the biases that they run with and the impact that has with all the little decisions along the way that get made. And so it's incumbent upon all of us to actually call out those decisions, challenge ourselves and ask why we're making the decisions that we make, be really curious about the impact that it's having, and then actually make some change to better impact the environment that you're trying to create. And of course, the one thing that we all really struggle with in all contexts of society, whether that be, friends, family, the sporting environment or corporate, those jokes, those comments, those little moments in time where people are innocently saying something that we walk past, you can't let that stuff go. You've got to be able to step into it and call it out and recognise it for what it is, which is daily ways that the safety that people feel in the environment is eroded through that constant reinforcement of why they shouldn't be there, why they're not good enough, or why the opportunity's less for them. And it has to stop. We all have to own that, and we all have to continue to do the work to make sure that we build equity and we build diversity in our work environments, because it makes all of us better and will make us all so much more successful.
How do we call things out? How do we make change happen? But also looking at a very inclusive environment where gender is one element, but also looking at every other aspect of that as well.
And a real takeaway from today, I think, is a bias to action. It's about actually making steps in the direction that's going to help the gender imbalance which exists today. And it's fantastic to sit down and talk about it, but everyone walking away has a part to play in moving things forward, creating the opportunities, giving a job to someone who needs the leg up, and really helping to turn the needle, because if we all move the needle together, it moves a long way.
I think it's important to have these conversations because we still need to have these conversations until a time where we don't need to have them, and it's just automatically done naturally. Then that will be a time when we don't necessarily have to have these events.
I think providing places where you have women that are leaders in their different fields, there's a lot of similarities and differences through different industries, and I think it's a real opportunity to challenge your own norm in your industry around women and leadership and that industry in itself. And events like here give you that time and space to meet other people that are leaders in their field and have those conversations.
I love today's panel. They're a phenomenal bunch of people, not just women, which was also good to hear a men's perspective of what he's doing to change not just his social circle, but also his circle of influence, which is amazing. And some key takeaways is, like, I'm going to start to bring other young women to the table, and different events I get to go to.
Having an opportunity to bring people together like this, to share ideas, to find common ground, and to really be able to utilise our experience and knowledge to challenge each other to see where we can go and what we can do next. I mean, I know as an Australian, the easiest people in the universe often to engage with are Canadians, because we have such a similar background, culture, sense of engagement and behavioural values that we get each other usually pretty well. And so being able to share that, being able to learn from each other, being able to see where, we're doing better, you're doing better, and being able to lift that up is so powerful, and I always really enjoy the conversation.
The CACC continues to be proud to bring events like this to the business community, to individuals in business, to continue to promote the cause of ongoing trade between Australia and Canada, but also championing issues that matter for both of our countries. Canada and Australia and the brands of both of our countries are very unique in that they're inclusive, they're collaborative, and they want to make a difference in the world. So it's with pride that we bring events like this to our stakeholders, to our members, and to a number of different constituents that value the services that we provide.